Alice grew up knowing the taste of hunger more than the taste of sweetness. Life was not kind to her. Her father died when she was 12, and her mother, a struggling petty trader, carried the burden of survival for 4 children. Alice was the first daughter. She carried responsibility like an old woman wears wrinkles. By 16, she was working as a housemaid. By 21, she was a secretary in a company that was too big for her fragile dreams. Every morning she woke up before dawn, took the overcrowded bus from the slums, and walked into Kelvin Bush's company, the empire that wore his name like a crown. Kelvin was a billionaire, young but hard as stone, the kind of man women admired from afar but feared to touch. To Alice, he was untouchable, until the night he touched her. Kelvin Bush was a man carved out of grief. Wealth had wrapped itself around him, but joy never lived in his mansion. People said he was blessed, but they never knew the curse he carried. He was the only child of parents who built their fortune through blood and sacrifice. When they died in a plane crash, Kelvin inherited everything, but he also inherited loneliness. His heart was a graveyard of memories. Kelvin did not laugh. He did not believe in love. He believed in work, in control, in silence. He wore pain like a suit, until the day he met Alice, the fragile secretary with soft eyes that carried both suffering and strength. It was not planned. It happened on a rainy night. The office was almost empty. Alice stayed behind, typing documents for a presentation. Kelvin returned from a meeting, soaked from the storm, his face tired, his eyes heavy. Their eyes met. For a moment, silence filled the air. Alice tried to look away, but Kelvin walked toward her. He touched her hand, and she froze. She felt his loneliness before she felt his desire. The night ended in his office, not with laughter, not with promises, but with a quiet desperation that left Alice trembling. She told herself it was just once, but once became many times, and with each night, Alice's heart grew weaker, while Kelvin's walls grew taller. Alice thought she was in love, not with his money, not with his cars or his mansion, but with the broken man behind the billionaire mask. She loved the way he sighed when he thought no one was listening. She loved the way his hand lingered on hers after their embraces. But Kelvin did not say the word, love. He did not speak it. He only took. He only embraced when the world felt too heavy. He only sought her body when his demons refused to let him sleep. To Alice, every touch was a promise. To Kelvin, every touch was an escape. Love lived in her heart. Silence lived in his. Her mother fell sick. Hospital bills swallowed everything. Alice borrowed, begged, sold her little possessions. Yet, she still went to Kelvin's office every day with a smile that hid her tears. When she finally told him about her mother, he paid the bills without blinking. But Alice noticed, his help was not from love. It was from duty, from guilt, from the quiet pity of a man who believed he could buy solutions but not emotions. Alice wept that night, not because her mother was saved, but because she realized, Kelvin gave money, but not his heart. Still, she stayed, because sometimes, love is not about receiving. Sometimes, it is about giving until you are empty. Kelvin's world was filled with women who wanted him. One evening, Alice saw him with another woman at a hotel lobby, tall, beautiful, elegant. They laughed, something he never did with Alice. Her chest cracked. She went home and cried until her body shook. But the next night, Kelvin came to her. He did not explain. He only held her tighter than before, as if she was air and he was drowning. Alice forgave him, not because he deserved it, but because her love was larger than her pride. This was her sacrifice, to love him, even when it hurt. Life sometimes plants seeds in pain. Alice missed her period. She tested herself. The 2 red lines glared at her like judgment. She was carrying Kelvin's child. Her hands shook. She imagined a small life growing inside her, a part of her and him. She thought maybe this would change things. Maybe he would love her. Maybe he would embrace her, not just in the night, but in the light of day. But when she told him, Kelvin's face turned to stone. I can't be a father now, he said coldly. I'm not ready. Alice's tears fell, but she smiled weakly. I'll keep it, even if it's just me. Her words were love. His silence was rejection. The child never came. Alice's body betrayed her in the 3rd month. She woke one night in pain, blood soaking her sheets. At the hospital, the doctor told her the baby was gone. She held her stomach and screamed. It was not just the loss of a child. It was the loss of a dream, the last fragile hope that Kelvin would ever truly love her. Kelvin visited her once, stood at the foot of her hospital bed, and said nothing. Then he left. Alice realized then, she had been nothing more than a body he borrowed when loneliness grew too heavy. She returned to work after weeks of healing, but her spirit was broken. One afternoon, she typed Kelvin's letters with trembling fingers. When he called her into his office, she walked in with calmness she did not feel. "Sir," she said softly, "I think it's time I leave." Kelvin looked at her, confused. "Why?" "Because love is a prison when only one person is chained." He said nothing. His lips moved, but no words came. For once, Kelvin's eyes softened, but Alice turned away before she could drown in them again. She left his office, left his company, left his world. Years passed. Alice built a small life. She opened a shop, took care of her mother, lived quietly. She never married. She never forgot. At night, she sometimes touched her stomach and wondered about the child who never came. She sometimes closed her eyes and remembered Kelvin's embrace, the only place she ever felt like she belonged, even if it was temporary. Kelvin remained a billionaire. People said he grew more powerful, more feared. But rumors whispered that he grew lonelier too. They never met again.